why are you excited to be here tonight?
Because I'm just excited.
Yeah. No other explanation. Now, I do believe, tell me the truth. Is it true that your dad has a ringside seat but didn't get you guys ringside seats?
That is true, but it's because of his YouTube channel, okay? It's his YouTube, okay?
Her dad's an influencer. Let him go, guys. But your dad's awesome, right?
Yeah.
See, he's awesome. Yeah! Give it up for Claire. Thank you so much, Claire. High five. Yeah.
If it wasn't discrimination. And you have the nerve. No. You have the nerve to sit there on your high horse and preach to these bottom-feeding dwellers who sit in the chat room, like Alliance Blog, who's been doing this for over a decade and still only got 2,000 followers. Yeah, I see you. You're a jabroni and a ham sandwich, and I don't want to hear from you ever again about what the NWA is supposed to do. This is what pro wrestling is supposed to be. This is what the NWA is supposed to be. No. You don't tell anyone what the NWA is supposed to be, and you certainly don't lecture me about what the NWA is supposed to be. I made the NWA.
Here's the story now. If I see Kevin Owens, or even someone who looks like Kevin Owens, I drop them on sight.
It's party time!
So, what day is it today?
Tuesday?
Wrong. It's NWA Day.
They want NWA? Let's give them NWA.
I was thinking that it might be a good idea if you and I formed an alliance.
Let's get ready to rumble! Attention, everyone. Welcome to the greatest wrestling program in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
Okay, let's party. It's the pre-party with J. Cal.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name is Jay Cal. Each and every Tuesday, I come to you, that hashtag NWA fam, to talk all things NWA. But we've kind of hit the side of a mountain. We've kind of hit an impasse because, well, the NWA has taken a knee in that the National Wrestling Alliance has not aired a fresh new episode of Power last week, and it doesn't look like they'll be putting up a new episode this week, which leaves me to believe, folks, that we're on our own. There will be no NWA for us today. There'll be no NWA for us tomorrow. However, on July 29th, next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Roku Sports, you will see the new NWA as it enters its third era since Billy Corgan has taken over. And that is the Roku Sports era. And that will be how we enjoy pro wrestling going forward. That's how we will enjoy the National Wrestling Alliance going forward. And Kirby Kid, happy birthday to you out there on TikTok. What is up? And so, I mean, this is an exciting time for the NWA in that they spent the last basically year on X, a platform not known for pro wrestling matches, a platform that's known for microblogging and occasionally political commentary from people who probably should have not said those things. But all in all, X has served as the NWA's platform since they were jettisoned, either self-jettisoned or jettisoned by the CW app when they spent the last 8 months of that time on that app. Wow, I don't think I'm making very much sense right now. Let me try to say that a different way. Before the NWA embarked on the X app, they were on the CW app. And when the WWE NXT deal finally started, quietly the NWA was removed from the website. A lot of people are unsure if that was a unilateral decision, if that was a CW's idea, if that was the NWA's idea. We don't really know. Just to be honest, we don't know whose decision that was. And I feel like it's not the end of the road for the NWA. We still might see them create content on the X app. In fact, I feel like, especially with the advent of the short video formats that are popular on TikTok, popular on other platforms like on Meta and on YouTube, X still could totally serve a purpose on being a home for short form content for the NWA. But I always thought that it was just ridiculous to choose that as the platform to engage a pro wrestling audience when the majority of pro wrestling fans don't watch wrestling on X. It wasn't until recently that the WWE started airing matches for their Speed title on X. Yeah, and that's really the only company to do that. But unlike the WWE, the NWA was not under any obligation to create content. Like, they weren't getting paid from X to produce content. Now, of course, like any other creator, the JCal, the Alliance Blog, I could take my podcast and pay $12 a month or $6 a month, whatever it is, to X and broadcast on X, and then I would earn money by engagement. But that's not the same what WWE has with the Speed. That is something else entirely. First of all, Overmetal says, Jack and I are watching from Cali's #1 export, El Pollo Loco, in between workouts. Now, first of all, sir, Matt, the Overmetal, have you had In-N-Out yet? I think you live in the Houston, Texas, New Orleans, Louisiana area, that circle. So I don't know if there are In-N-Outs near you, but that is by far the greatest export from Southern California when it comes to fine cuisine. The In-N-Out burger, a double-double. That sounds so good right now. Ooh. Finn does WWE. What's up? Thanks for hanging out. Willie Bowen, 0.0 is Tyrus and Rolando Freeman. Willie, you promised me a really good joke, and I thought you were going to have a big joke today. And I'm kind of disappointed, Willie. I was hoping more. Let's see. Steve G said Aldous made the list. He sure as hell did. Raw was actually quite good yesterday. I thought Raw was, you know what? I thought Raw was really good. I was very much excited to see Elira and Bailey in the tag team match against Raquel and Roxanne. I felt like that was a pretty solid match. I liked the program that they're continuing to do with Dominic Mysterio. But let's talk a little bit of the NWA, can we? Finn, real quick, I will address the neck issue. Kevin Owens did have his neck surgery on July 18th. It is unsure of when he will be ready to return to in-ring action, but the earliest that we're hearing is 12 to 15 months, which means it could be 2027 before we see Kevin Owens inside of a WWE ring again. And I feel like that is a pretty lofty goal. And we know that some wrestlers never are the same after a neck surgery like this. So, thoughts and prayers to the prize fighter, Kevin Owens. Hopefully he does come back at 100% when he does in a year's time. Of course, the WWE will not be the same without him. Hopefully, maybe he comes back in a non-wrestling role while he's in recovery. It's Lisa Mia. Sorry. It's Lisa Mia. Thanks for checking us out on X. To answer your question, no, this is not a full-time job for me. I do talk wrestling quite often here on Kick, on TikTok, on YouTube, and on Twitch. But I'm only I'm not monetized on Twitch or Kick. But yeah, I do have a full-time job. This is just this is for funsies. Chris Drummond says, while Roku is nice, it still seems like it wasn't really thought out completely. I kind of feel the same, Chris. I don't know what the next move is. Like, this is the biggest deal they've had since the CW app, but even that I felt was short-sighted. They alienated a large portion of their fan base, the international fan base, by being only available to folks in the United States when they were on the CW app. And now that they are on Roku, I still feel like they're going to be streaming on in North America, Canada, Mexico, and of course, United States. But that doesn't do a whole lot for their international fan base. Now, if they were smart, which, you know, it's all supply and demand, right? If there was a huge supply for the show, then maybe a streaming platform internationally would pick them up. I'm rooting for them. I want the NWA to succeed, but I feel like Roku is a stopgap. It's not a final destination. If they can do big business with Roku, who knows? Maybe we'll get more premium live events, signature live events from the NWA. Maybe we get additional content. Maybe they'll bring back a form of a pay-per-view or something like that. But right now, it's just it doesn't feel very. It doesn't feel like it's a big win. It just feels like a lateral transfer. Like how much more money are they making with Roku than they did with YouTube? Now, if someone could show me some financials, which no one will, but if someone showed me some financials, I'd shut up real quick, right? Oh, we're making X amount of dollars, and on YouTube we weren't. Okay, that's fair. Good point. All right, I'll shut up. But as of right now, I mean, we don't know those numbers. And it's not really our business to know those numbers, but as a fan, YouTube is not blocked almost anywhere. It's not region coded. It's pretty much free to view YouTube anywhere in the world. It's free. So if the numbers are comparable, I think you would get more of an audience being on YouTube. Wicked, what's going on, man? Thanks for the shout out. Appreciate you. Okay. Chris says the 3 countries, but no Spanish commentary. That's another excellent point. No Spanish commentary. That is a very good shout right there, Chris. If they don't have Spanish commentary, what good is it being on the Spanish speaking side of the country in Mexico? That's all right, Willie. We'll post it when you got it. Who do you think is behind the mask of El Grande Americano? I haven't seen Pete Dunne in a while. Maybe it's Pete Dunne. I'll take original Tommy's over In-N-Out every day of the week, but do have one around you, J. Cal. Yeah, no, we have a Tommy's not too far away. And Tommy's is good, but the chili messes me up, man. I can't do a lot of chili. But I do enjoy a nice In-N-Out burger. And anybody who says it's overrated, Finn, like, I dare you to say it to In-N-Out's face. Sam Retro says, what's up, Alliance fam? Retro's in the house. Retro's my guy. I got to hang out with Retro twice in the last 5 years. At 73 in St. Louis, Missouri. No, 74 in St. Louis, Missouri. And at 75. No, am I saying that backwards? 75 in Missouri and 76 in Philly. And I hope to hang out with Retro again soon. Mad said Austin Theory is injured. Now I believe it's happened during a match against El Grande Americano on main event. Oh, I didn't know. July 29th is my birthday. The NWA did that on purpose. I really hope, Overmetal, that this is going to be a great gift to all of us, right? I really hope that Roku is going to transition the NWA from a part-time wrestling promotion to a full-fledged active wrestling promotion that does events every day, every week, every month. You know, like, heck, I'd be happy with the TNA taping schedule. Wrestling Rant, thanks for the heartbeat. Appreciate you, brother. I need to get Wrestle Rant on the YouTube show one of these days. You guys, I don't think, would be able to handle Wrestle Rant, but he's an NWA fan, true and true. And I love his positivity. Overmetal says Roku's greater than the Honor Club. Yeah, sure. What's wrong with the Honor Club is still just a glorified I don't know. I haven't had access to Honor Club, but I did have like New Japan's what was it called? New Japan World. I used to pay them like the $9.99 I forget what the Japanese dollar is called, but I used yen. I used to pay the $9.99 yen to watch New Japan. And I mean, look, it's cool, right? But like, I don't know if I could watch free wrestling. I'd rather watch free wrestling than pay for it. We're gonna sing "Happy Birthday" to Matt on next Tuesday. I hope if everyone's in the chat, we'll sing "Happy Birthday." Yeah, Gotham Wrestling's coming. I'm excited about Gotham Wrestling. Matt says Vampiro for Spanish commentary booth. Like now, Matt, are we saying that because we know he could speak Spanish, or do we think he could do a good job of cutting promo or putting over the NWA in Spanish? A Wiccan, great question. Tim Storm. I love Tim Storm. As a person, he's an amazing human being. Period. As a wrestler, he self-admittedly started late in the world of pro wrestling and got started a lot later than most people. I feel like he was always a quality hand. I feel like his feud with Jack Stane is really what kept the NWA afloat during the leaner years after the New Japan deal. But I feel like what hurt the Baron, as Wrestling Rant corrects me, is that because of his age, he wasn't able to capitalize on the fame that he received. Now, I don't think he became a very popular name in the world of sport of wrestling until after he became world's heavyweight champion. And honestly, I don't think people were talking about Tim Storm on that level until the 10 Pounds of Gold series. And once that 10 Pound of Gold series came out, it really paved the way to make Tim Storm a very likable character, relatable, down to earth. And, credit to Dave Lagana for making that happen and establishing Tim as a true world's heavyweight champion. His reign as the Lightning One era world champion certainly was short-lived. But, they could have screwed him over so much quicker, right? They could have. Look, Nick Aldis was there like at Tim Storm's like fourth or third match in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. They could have pulled the trigger right then and there, put the belt on Nick Aldis then. They gave not only Tim Storm an opportunity to defend that title several more times under that Lightning One banner, but then offered him a spot on the roster afterwards. And, Billy Corgan's NWA doesn't exist without Tim Storm. It can continue to exist, but he's what planted the seed. It was the first real rivalry of the Lightning One era. It gave Nick Aldis credibility. He didn't just beat some guy. He beat the guy who held the 10 Pounds of Gold. And credit where credit's due, Tim Storm could have taken the low road. He could have dropped the title in Japan for a huge payday. He held that belt with class. He held that belt with dignity. He held that belt with respect. So you got to put some respect on Tim Storm's name, but it's time to hang it up. It's time to end it. It's hard to watch him wrestle now. It's hard to watch him in the ring. I still think the world of the guy, but, he's also approaching his 60s. Not everyone can wrestle into their 60s. Not everyone should wrestle in their 60s. Steve G, you don't like their fries? In-N-Out, In-N-Out's king for me. Like, fries, burgers, give me In-N-Out, and you got a happy J Cow. Vampiro works for the Fed now. Did he get a contract? Is he working for the WWE, or is he still working for AAA? Russell Rant just says, tell that to Ric Flair. Man, if he would have listened, I would have told him. You got it, Retro. I'm going to hold you to that. Then Vampiro is fine in commentary. You know what? I forgot about that, Steve G. I totally forgot about that. He did do a pretty good job for Lucha Underground. So maybe you're onto something. But as Chris pointed out, he's still got to deal with AAA, whether it's with the WWE or not. Willie Bowens is former NWA North American champion, heavyweight, and world heavyweight champion. Yeah, of course. Nothing but respect for that guy. And did you guys hear that Ozzy passed away? Ozzy Osbourne, WWE Hall of Famer Ozzy Osbourne, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Ozzy Osbourne. Sucks. It's sad. My only point is that hopefully he's no longer suffering. And if you believe in an afterlife, hopefully he is in a better place. Finn says Dean Ambrose, R-Truth, Big Show, Michael Cole, and Hornswoggle all could be behind the mask of El Grande Americano. I remember that scare at 75, and I was pissed and scared. Dane versus Storm was one of the matches I flew to St. Louis for. Yeah, man. And remember how Jax ran out there? I mean, didn't run out there, but like stayed there with Tim throughout the whole time. And you had freaking I forgot his name. Jack's manager at the time, I can't think of his name right now, was telling him like get on him, and Jax told him shut up, he's hurt. Like it was pretty cool that he was so protective of Tim. And that's the thing, like, you know, with in all respect to Jack Stane, may he rest in peace. As much as he went out there to put on a show, he was also very concerned about his friend who was in the ring. And he didn't pull any punches. He threw Tim Storm around like any other wrestler. And I'm sure Tim Storm, although injured, respected him for that. WrestleRant asked a really good question, and I'm going to ask the chat the same question. If someone from the WWE would show up to the NWA, who would you want and who would fit? Now, obviously, the person I liked the most was Natty. We already had Natty, and there's kind of a built-in storyline for Natty, but I'm curious as to who the chat can come up with. So I'm going to read some more of the comments, and then we'll circle back to that one, WrestleRant, because it's a great question. Dave Scooby says, I think the NWA is trying to best TNA on how many channels, platforms it can broadcast on. Well, there's a few of them that are much, much better than what the NWA's been on, so we'll see. That last concert, yeah. Chris Silvio, thank you, Retro. Steve G says Oba Femi on the NWA roster. Oba Femi versus Tom Latimer for that 10 pounds of gold. Sign me up twice. I'll pay for an annual subscription for that. Good Lord. King Shaw Mega, what's up? It's Lisa Mia. We've had that conversation before. You've sent me some of your information before. I'm not prepared to do anything with that right now. Thank you. Ben just sent her to the chat on TikTok. What's up, Ben? Figure 5 just told me to come back, Kevin Owens. All right, so if we're looking at the WWE roster, besides Oba Femi, or what about obviously Natty Neidhart? Who else would make sense? I mean, the way I look at it is you have to pick somebody who I feel like is not involved in a major storyline, but could be an immediate impact player. So like AJ Styles would totally be that guy for me. Like AJ Styles showing up in the NWA to wrestle for the World's Heavyweight Championship would be money. Noah said Finn, as I'm assuming Finn Balor. Oh, Wiccan did too. That's interesting. Those are both great callbacks, and I would absolutely love Finn Balor to be in the NWA, challenging for the World's Heavyweight Championship. Finn Balor, former NWA British Commonwealth champion when he was known as Fergal Devitt. Now, WR Design says Ron Killings. Ron Killings would be absolutely amazing. A 2-time NWA World Champion, could be a 3-time, right? WrestleRant says Charlotte Flair. Wow. Charlotte Flair wrestling for the Burke would be something that'd be very interesting to see. Willie Bowen says Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill would be fantastic, but I feel like Jade Cargill is very much in the middle of something and would definitely be I don't think that would be a very good choice at the moment. If Ron Killings come back, Latimer have to heal it up. I think Latimer's more than capable of healing it up against a babyface Ron Killings. WrestleRant said it would be Charlotte's birthright to be in the NWA. Sam Retro says Charlotte would be fire. Yeah, I'm all about that. Especially because right now they don't have a whole lot for her to do. She's teaming with Alexa Bliss, which I mean, I think their work as a tag team, it's an interesting way to go. But come on, Dennis says Karrion Kross. And Karrion Kross like 2 months ago would have been ideal. But Karrion Kross right now, I don't know, man. He seems like they've got something planned for him. And then Double D just picked up the kid. Yeah, man. WR Design says, said Trick as the TNA champion. That would be a mind. Oh, my God. That would be great. Trick Williams as your TNA World Heavyweight Champion, a WWE contracted wrestler, goes to the NWA to challenge Tom Latimer for the 10 pounds of gold. Are you kidding me? That would be bonkers. I mean, in the best way possible. I think Austin Theory would be good in the NWA too. But again, he's somebody who he's hurt right now, or at least that's what the reports are, that he could be hurt. So who knows? WrestleRant says Joe Hendry. Man, I would believe in Joe Hendry as well. Could you imagine? Whoa, say that again without sounding drunk. Could you imagine Joe Hendry challenging Tom Latimer, the Scotsman versus the Englishman for the NWA World Championship? I don't think there's ever been a more prolific, high-profile United Kingdom matchup than that. Ricky Saints, Dennis, you're on fire today. Hell yeah, get me Ricky Saints. Ricky Saints all day. He could come and win the TV title. Put the TV title on Ricky Saints. Wicked says Dolph Ziggler. You guys are getting crazy with these. Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth, if you will, would absolutely be awesome in the NWA. And we were talking about Dolph Ziggler before he debuted for TNA Wrestling, that he would have been a great fit. Instantly adds credibility to the promotion if he were to come over. Steve G says, what about Andrade? And again, you just want Andrade because it can be the exes of Charlotte in a matchup. WrestleRant says Gunther. Oh, Jesus. Gunther wouldn't come to the NWA, but if he did, like, that would have to be like a buyout, right? Like, the only way you're going to get Gunther to come in to become NWA World Heavyweight Champion is if the NWA is bought out by the WWE, right? Dennis says Americano Grande, maybe. But think about, like, if the WWE had Gunther win the NWA World Heavyweight title and then just uses that belt, then they retire. John Cena leaves with the Undisputed Championship. CM Punk beats Gunther this Saturday or next Saturday at SummerSlam. Hear me out, guys. Hear me out. Gunther says, all right, well, I can't have that title, so I'll go get the next best thing. Becomes NWA World Heavyweight Champion at the 77th anniversary show. And instead of, WWE needing to crown a new champion, they'll just use the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. But that's history, tradition, dating all the way back to Luthez. And the guy holding that belt is a modern-day version of Luthez and Gunther. Come on, man. Now we're cooking. That could feed families for generations. Wicked says Carmelo Hayes. That's another good shout out. Carmelo Hayes is not being used for much right now, and I kind of feel like we might see Carmelo and Trick back up at it again. Roxanne is a tag team champion. That would be good too. Underrated Greatness says Miz. You guys are throwing out so many good names. That would be exciting. Like Miz. Soda said anyone from the LWO would be good. Steve G also points out that TNA and WWE are basically the same thing right now. Oh my gosh, Bayley coming in to wrestle Kylie Page for that women's championship. Now, I know a lot of people out there want to see Natalia Markova become world champion, but that would be interesting. And then Ray Rowe, Eric from the White Six. No, I'm sorry, not for. Sorry, wrong guy. Sorry. Ray Rowe of the Viking Raiders. Yeah, former tag team partner to Jack Stain. I kind of wish they could have brought those guys in for the Crockett Cup to pay homage to Jack Stain. Noob says Asuka against Natalia Markova, the ultimate badass in Asuka versus the badass with an and Natalia Markova. That would be a good one. Dexter Lemus. See, Dennis, I know you're a true NWA fan. I get it, Dennis. You are an NWA fan because you're talking about people who have that history with the National Wrestling Alliance. Dexter Lemus was once challenged for the World's Heavyweight Championship at, I think it was Always Ready. WR Designs and 849 Hat Company says, I was a designer for the NWA in 2014. I created the NWA magazine during the period under Tharp. Aha. Okay. I think we've probably spoken in the past, WR Designs. I know you said this as a joke, but Chris Drummond says Alberto Del Rio. That's a no for me, dog. That's a no for me, dog. I don't know. I mean, sometimes people deserve second chances, but does Del Rio deserve a third chance, a fourth chance, a fifth chance? I'd love NWA to take Tony Storm and free AEW's women's roster. Now, Tony Storm, look, I have nothing but the utmost respect for her as a talent. She's really carried that. She's really carried the show. But again, that's AEW, not WWE, not NWA. So, but I mean, if we're all just fantasy booking here, why not? King Sean Mega says ADR is a babyface in Mexico. Fans force him to turn babyface. He is that good. Is he though? You know, Sean Mega, I've seen ADR in Mexico multiple times, in Tijuana at least, and that's still part of Mexico. And he feels very forced. Now, maybe that's because a lot of the audience is maybe more Americanized, or maybe they're more used to, I don't know. I don't see it. It's not for me. It's not for me. I'm not saying it couldn't work. I'm just saying it's not for me. I've seen JBL in Mexico. JBL. Oh, man. JBL. Damn. I know that that's a stretch, but JBL coming to the NWA, former NWA North American champion JBL coming in and just larating people for the World's Heavyweight title. I'm in for that. Sam Retro says, I'd take Maddie back. Yeah, they call her Ren Sinclair, but we know her real name is Maddie Rinkowski, and she would be an absolute delight to have back in the NWA. However, I just sorry, that apple was my lunch, and it's still delicious. I feel like, you know, does she have the same je ne sais quoi as a Natty Neidhart or Charlotte Flair? The answer is no, but it'd be something for her to do. And if there was this, you know, relationship that made the NWA and the WWE have an opportunity at a talent exchange. See, Wrestle Rant, we could have had the Hardy Boys at the Crockett Cup like the last 3 years. The Hardy Boys, like, look, I would have even taken Team 3D back in the NWA for the Crockett Cup. The Crockett Cup is one of those nights where, like, all bets are off, and any good tag team should be on the table. Like, FTR should be on the table, the Hardys should be on the table, the War Raiders should be on the table. Like, all of those guys should be available to work a tag team tournament with that history. The problem is WWE isn't letting their guys lose, and AEW is not going to let their guys lose. Wicked says Alba Fire and not the bullcrap version we're getting of her in the WWE. Okay. King Shawn Mega says Carnage solo would get over huge. Damage is holding him back. I think the whole BFT thing has ran its course. I think it's time to move on. It's time to move on. And Carnage as a solo act, I think, would work. I do agree with you. Finn. All right, let's hear it, Finn. Michael Cole could be behind the mask of Americano because he's always trying to frame others for being behind the mask. Except, Finn, we regularly see Grande Americano on camera while Michael Cole's at the booth. So it kind of doesn't work. Chris says, would you use Regal's kid? Yeah. Why not? Why not? Charlie Dempsey, right? He's a fine hand. He's been doing a lot of the blood sports, right? Heck yeah. Bring him in. NWA and AEW relationship is not good right now. Yeah, I mean, like, but look, that can be fixed very easily. Like, the thing about pro wrestling is, and I'm sure if I haven't said it before, it's all about ego and money. You either need to stroke somebody's ego or pay them money. And if you could do one or the other or both, you could repair relationships. Look, Bret the Hitman Hart left the WWE on the worst terms possible. They screwed him. His brother was no longer alive after falling off of a scaffolding as they lowered him to the ring. And yet he was there. He's been inducted in the Hall of Fame. He's come in. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Money and ego stroking is what makes things happen in pro wrestling for sure. But we did get some news with regards to the Crockett Cup. We've had a couple of matches announced, and I'm sure we'll get more into them on Thursday night as we talk about the NWA and its upcoming debut on the Roku app. Now, it is interesting that the NWA decided to hold the Crockett Cup for the Roku app, but I think that's a good, smart decision. Excuse me. I think it's a smart decision because now they'll be debuting the brand new content on the brand new platform. And it's not like people had to learn to switch from the Roku or the X or vice versa. And it gives the NWA an opportunity to put their best foot forward. Hard Times is in the past. A lot of the, they haven't filmed anything between Hard Times and the Crockett Cup. So what we get going forward is just the brand new content with the continuity that is established at the Crockett Cup. So the TV tapings that happen in Tampa after Crockett Cup will be the next regular power that airs on the Roku app. And then, of course, they've already announced they'll be doing TV in September after the 77th anniversary show. So for those who are keeping track, it's going to go Crockett Cup, tapings in Tampa, 77th anniversary show, tapings in Tampa. And then they'll probably do another Sal win in October like they did the last 2 years. And then, we don't really know what to expect or what's going to happen next. Now, Chris Drummond says, I got an idea, but Billy doesn't have the stones to do it. Well, what's your idea, Chris? Or is this for the After Hours podcast? As far as the NWA goes, the next TV show, or excuse me, the next event that's going to be live is the 77th anniversary show. Now they call these signature live events for the NWA, very similar to the premium live events that were coined by the WWE, because these are not these are available. They're not an extra charge. They make them part of their regular TV taping package, which I think is a dumb decision for me. I think it would be more interesting if there was something different, like if you had your signature live events airing on YouTube or on X or on Triller, where we could do a pay-per-view, or Title Match Network or something like that. Let's put the live events there. Chris says, since Exodus Pro goes live on YouTube, why not simulcast Exodus Pro on both YouTube and Roku as a test? Again, maybe. I don't know. I mean, why do you need to go simulcast with both Exodus? Why do you need a simulcast on both YouTube and Roku at the same time? And why Exodus Pro? Why not just do it power? Technically, Billy doesn't own Exodus Pro, right? Billy owns the NWA, but doesn't own Exodus Pro. Exodus Pro airs its matches on Billy's NWA YouTube channel, but I don't think he claims any ownership of those videos. I don't know. But some of the names, some of the matches that we have announced already, of course, we are going to have Natalia Markova defending the, excuse me, wow. We're going to have Kenzie Page defending the Burke against Natalia Markova. That match has been set. We kind of knew that a couple of months ago. I think we knew that before the Crockett Cup, right? But that was the match that we knew that was going to happen at the anniversary show. The other match that has recently been announced is the return of Hammerstone as he takes on Kerry Morton. And the interesting thing about that is Kerry Morton is one half of your United States tag team champions. So we evidently the tag titles won't be on the line because we also know that Alex Taylor will be defending the junior heavyweight championship against Rich Swann. So now we have 3 matches, 2 title matches already announced for the NWA Signature Live event, the 77th anniversary show. So at the very least, that's some pretty exciting matches. Bringing in Rich Swann, former TNA World Champion, right? Former TNA X Division Champion. And then having him challenge Alex Taylor for the World Junior Heavyweight title, I think is going to be a pretty good match. Alex Taylor is solid in the ring, but putting up against Rich Swann, I think that's going to be one of the toughest opponents he's had since becoming World Junior Heavyweight Champion. Wicken also points out that X's Pro is owned by EC3, and that you are correct on that, Wicken. It is owned by EC3. That is his promotion. It is affiliated with the National Wrestling Alliance, but it is not owned by Billy Corgan. It is a territory. David Valentine with our fake breaking news. WOW and NWA are supposed to merge. There is a world that exists that can feasibly host both WOW and the NWA without having them merge. They don't need to merge. Why would we merge the NWA and WOW? They're both relatively successful properties, right? I feel like, number one, the WOW roster, not everyone on the WOW roster would make sense on the NWA roster, nor do I think that anybody in the NWA roster would make sense for WOW. Now, King Shawn Mega says WOW actually looking good recently, and I don't disagree with that. But, I mean, there's only some members of that roster that would make sense transcending. Like, personally, like, look, we already saw Valentina Rossi jump to the NWA, as she has just teamed with Tiffany Nieves as TVMA. They became the NWA Women's World Tag Team Champions. We haven't seen anyone else from WOW make that transition or opportunity. Now, in the past, Haley J has appeared on both programs. Santana Garrett was at last year's anniversary show. And the Tonga Twins are formerly of WOW. So we have seen some crossover, but not in official capacity. Now, if we're picking and choosing, I would love to see La Reina Del Rey show up in the NWA because I'm a big fan of Ruby Reyes. I think she would fit in perfectly with the NWA. But that remains to be seen. We'll have to just kind of wait and see. But I don't feel like there's a merger or any kind of really serious cross-promotion anytime soon. Chick Tormenta was on Worlds Collide, and that was pretty cool for her as she works for both WOW and AAA. Steve G, I don't think Ruby Reyes is going to win the WOW championship. I don't feel like they give her the respect she deserves in WOW, and I think it's a shame. I think she'd make a great champion. But, I mean, who knows? I do think that they'll be filming a new season relatively soon, maybe at the end of August or the beginning of September. But, that as far as WOW goes, nothing but respect for the ladies of WOW. A lot of former NWA Women's World Champions ended up in WOW. Like we saw Amber O'Neal. We saw, like the aforementioned Santana Garrett, Barbie Hayden, all of which have held the NWA Women's World Championship and have competed on WOW. And we've seen a few former WOW contestants become NWA Women's Champions, like Thunder Rosa. But I don't think we're going to – I don't think there's that crossover opportunity. Now, never say never, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Imagine Maze and Big Mama as a tag team. See, now you're thinking Dave Scooby. Of course you're thinking. Dave Scooby is the king fantasy booker. But, yeah, Reyes and Big Mama versus Nieves and Rossi would be pretty interesting. Whatever happened to Camille? So much talent went to AEW, nothing. I feel like Camille was one of those signings where Tony said, hey, we have to make sure she doesn't go to the WWE, but didn't have a plan for her. Because I feel like the X-Bombers, Penelope Pink has NWA vibes. The X-Bombers, you guys follow me on Blue Sky, and I follow you. You guys share my dad jokes, so thanks for hanging out. I think Penelope Pink does have NWA vibes for sure. She could work. Let's see. I missed it. Yeah, as far as Camille goes, we know right now she is filming Gladiators. When they brought her into AEW, the plan was to put her with Monet, but that never materialized. And, she never got her heat back from Monet. Now that Monet has lost her opportunity to win the AEW Women's Championship, maybe there'll be some sort of comeuppance for her down the road. Right now, we haven't seen anything from Camille. And now that Camille will be a part of American Gladiators, and to be honest, AEW did the same thing when Camille was in the Queen of the Ring movie. Like, they didn't use her at all for the advanced promotion, and they were doing promotion for the movie. So I feel like they took two really missteps when it comes to that. Willie says, I love Reyes and Big Mama. I think both of those ladies are talented. They've had a one-on-one match before, nothing lately, but a few years ago they had squared off in Southgate, of all places. I did not see it live, but I heard it was a great match. And I'll be honest, Reyes put over Mama in that match. She told me that it was a good match and that she would work with her again anytime. The folks on TikTok still think I look like Kevin Owens, if anyone's keeping score. And Willie says, I would love to see Vicky Lynn McCoy in the NWA. Yeah. I could see it. Steve G says, TK only cares about ex-WWE wrestlers for the most part. I mean, I don't know if that's fair. MJF came from MLW. What is it? Okada came from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Will Ospreay came from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Takashita, I can never say his name right. He came from DDT. Bandito came from ROH. Samoa Joe, I mean, you could say he was a WWE guy. Soto, I don't keep score during this portion of the live stream. It would be way too hard to try to talk and write down names and make coherent sense. Ex-WWE wrestlers have all the championships besides two. Okay, Steve, let's put that to test. Let's look at the ROH roster, if my computer will allow it. No, sorry, the AEW roster. And let's see who the champions are right now, if my computer will allow it, which it doesn't look like it will. All right. I got too much going on today. Steve, okay, we know that the world's heavyweight champion right now is Hangman Page, not a former WWE talent. You could say Toni Storm absolutely was a former WWE talent, but came into her own with AEW, right? And then we look at the tag team champions, which are, the Hurt Business. And, X-Bombers, you like that? Boom. And I got that in Tijuana, too, in front of El Auditorio de Tijuana. I picked up a mannequin head at, what's that place called? IKEA. I couldn't think of IKEA. And I felt like it was going to be a Halloween decoration, and I thought, no way, it's actually even cooler as part of my studio. And this is a Blue Demon one, although unless I put the Blue Demon light on, it just looks like a rainbow. I mean, the two are Hangman and Okada. I mean, I'm not going to... Did Tony Storm work for the main roster? Appreciate that, Bombers. Or X-Bombers. I mean, I don't think... Did Tony Storm work on the main roster, or was she mostly NXT? Regardless, I feel like she didn't really come into her own until she came into the AEW. Mercedes Moné's different story. 100% different story. September 5th, are we going to the Crash? I think we are, Soto. It's not on my calendar yet. Let's check. What do I have on? What does J-Cal have on his calendar? Calendar for September 5th, nada. September 6th, nada. So I think so. Storm was on SmackDown. I take your word for it, Steve. I don't recall Storm being on the main roster. But yeah, it's okay. I mean, that's a fair point. Who's your TNT champion? Your TNT champion right now is, I don't know. Oh, it's Dustin Rhodes. I knew that. It's Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes, your TNT champion, your TBS champion, and Mercedes Moné. Your unified continental champion is Okada. Double D says Storm was caked in the face by Charlotte, then quit, and then went to have a wildly successful run in AEW, where I don't think she's bigger than, I don't think timeless Tony Storm is bigger than Charlotte, but she certainly has entered the conversation. The year that she's had in AEW, and make no bones about it, if she was a free agent and the WWE wanted her, I think it would be a very attractive option to check out at least what they have to offer. But I feel like she's better off in AEW. It's the same thing I say about Jon Moxley. It's the same thing I would say about Hangman Page. Why would you come and be somebody's backup, right? Why would you come to the WWE and be a backup player when you're the main guy or main gal on that roster? That's a great question, the X-Bombers. Huge fan of Jeremiah Plunkett. He's my guy. The JP is a made man as far as I'm concerned on the Alliance blog. He can always come in and do a co-hosting if he wants. We do another interview if he wants. He's a made dude. Jeremiah Plunkett is a made guy. Even after he told me he was following my website when he was in high school. Thank you, JP. The Mid-American Championship is an afterthought for the NWA. And I hate to say it because I think it has such a great concept, but the execution has been mid at best. You have a title that is supposed to represent the territories. JP should be booked every weekend, whether it be, down in Texas and St. Louis, in Chicago, in Tampa. He should be wrestling all the time. And he should be defending that title all the time. The NWA has not made the Mid-American Championship mean anything. And it's very, very disappointing to me because I like Jeremiah Plunkett. Okay, Bombers. That's the connection. That's how we found each other. Okay. I am biased too. I love that guy. I feel like he's so undervalued in the NWA. He should be the measuring stick. He literally should be going to these territories and identifying who are the guys ready to come up to that next level. And he could be that guy to evaluate, to coach, to train up. And if someone needs more work, like, okay, this guy has potential. This guy does not. This person can be on the main roster today. And he literally should be out there just testing people and defending his Mid-American Championship. And the fact that they're not pushing that belt as a bigger thing, extremely disappointing. Extremely disappointing. I got to see Jeremiah Plunkett live at Crockett Cup a few years ago. Had a beer with him afterwards. Absolute gem of a human being. I have only nice things to say about Jeremiah Plunkett. Once wrestled for the World's Heavyweight Championship against Satoshi Kojima, and would love to see him get better opportunities. Feel the NWA is really dropping the ball about that. Chris Shoemaker on TikTok said Slamovich was robbed. JCJ needed to drop the belt to her sooner than later. TNA's getting jobbed. I don't know. I feel like everybody's winning right now, even though TNA title holders are losing their belts. At the same time, TNA has never been more popular than it is right now. They just sold out one of their biggest venues they've ever had, and then their next pay-per-view, Genesis, I think, it's going to be another big venue for them. I don't see what there is to complain about. I have nothing to be upset about. Double D says Leon Slater about to beat AJ Styles. I mean, look, we said it here. We said it here in the chat. I would love to see AJ Styles make one more run at the 10 pounds of gold before he hangs it up. But a match against Leon Slater as a Generations match, I think would be really cool too. As Wiccan said on TikTok, it's putting more eyes on TNA. Absolutely is. AJ creeping on Dom is funny. I think so too. It's the house that Double D built, the UBS Arena. I could have a suite to the pay-per-view, but my wife didn't want to go. Oh, Double D. I'm so sad for you. We got to know when we filmed the music video, Forget the Experience of the Jim Cornette. He is indeed the coolest. Yeah, good guy. Nothing but nice things to say about him. David Valentine says Candy Crush would be a good addition to the roster. Sure, man. I'll take that. Steve G, I like the way you think right there. I think AJ Styles beats Trick Williams and retires as TNA champion. That would be a great way to end his career. Although, selfishly, I don't want to see him end his career at Bound for Glory. I mean, it might be time to call it a career, but I still feel like he doesn't have to be, the AJ Styles of New Japan and WWE to still be an over talent. See Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy for that. And I got to have a suite for Forbidden Door last year. We got the baby in a 6-hour drive, and I passed. Yeah, I mean, like I missed out on a lot of wrestling because of my kids too, and I never was disappointed with that choice. Let's see, Steve, sorry, I didn't see your earlier message. I really like this Tony Storm, and I'd love to have a random AEW show on here sometime. Yeah, I mean, Double D, when you're ready, you tell me. We have our event August 9th in San Diego. Yeah, gonna check out some Lucha Libre on the north side of the border for once. Soto and I, we're gonna hook up down and we're gonna hang out down in San Diego. Gotta watch my words a little bit better. Gonna hang out down in San Diego, watch some Lucha Libre, maybe shoot some content. I gotta get another Kevin Owens shirt, I guess. Well, it's about that time, guys. It's about that time that we call it a day here on the pre-party. There was no NWA show today. There's nothing that was announced. It's actually kind of like, it's weird because last week they did the best of, which was a collaboration, not a collaboration, the best of which recapped the 2023 Crockett Cup. But the Pope, why did I say the Pope? Oh, because he's on my screen right now. But the NWA has nothing going on today. So enjoy the rest of your Tuesday because apparently there's no NWA for you tonight. You can check out NXT later tonight. Of course, that airs on the CW. As Steve G says, make sure you like and follow. Hit that button. Get the notifications. Pending emotions, first of all, I'm like 5 years older than Kevin Owens, so watch your mouth, man. You see that door? You can use it if you don't like what you see over here. Thanks for the Heart Me Hurricane over on TikTok. Appreciate that. A Double D, why don't you jump on TikTok? We'll go on TikTok later. More bet. Oh, they did announce it. I missed that, Sam. I missed the. Okay, thank you, Pending Emotions. I missed that. I didn't know that there is more Crockett Cup best of tonight. Didn't hear that. So, okay, that's good. That was because it was odd to me for them not to have something, like anything would have made sense. But okay. X-Bombers, I appreciate that. And when I get back onto YouTube, I will make sure that I give you that sub because you guys have been kind to me, not just on Blue Sky, but heck, you guys came in the chat and we got to talk about JP. So anytime I can talk about Jeremiah Plunkett's a good time. Hurricane, thanks for that. I appreciate that. I try my best. But we're gonna call it a day over here on the old YouTube, Kick, and Twitch. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe after the chat. It helps with the Al Gore rhythm. Get that guy dancing so we get more people to view the show. And then we'll be back on Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. I really should write this down. I can't count on myself to have it memorized. But, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me on this Tuesday. And until next time, we'll see you at the match. Thanks for checking out the Pre-Party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. You should hit that subscribe button and join our community. I also want to remind you that we recap NWA Power every Thursday at 8 p.m. in the live stream. We try to stay social, so find us at the Alliance blog. And until next time, we are the Alliance.